Balance of payment. Balance of payment (BOP) of a country can be defined as a systematic statement of all economic transactions of a country with the rest of the world during a specific period, usually 1 year. Theoretically, the BOP should be zero, meaning that assets, credits, and liabilities, debits, should balance. But in practice, this is rarely the case, and thus, the BOP can tell the observer if a country has a deficit or a surplus, and from which part of the economy the discrepancies are stemming. For the first time, the Union Budget for 1992-93 has made the Indian rupee partially convertible. This was an inevitable move for the expeditious integration of Indian economy with that of the world in order to face the serious current account deficit in the balance of payments. The Government of India introduced the partial convertibility of rupee from March 1, 1992. Under this system, which remained in operation for a period of 1 year, 60% of the exchange earnings were convertible in rupees at market-determined exchange rate, and the remaining 40% earnings were convertible in rupees at the officially determined exchange rate. Convertibility of currency in India. Prior to the First World War, the whole world was having gold standard, under which the currency in circulation was allowed to get converted either in gold or other currencies based on the gold standard. But after the failure of Bretton Woods system in 1971, this system changed. Presently, convertibility of money implies a system where a country's currency becomes convertible in foreign exchange and vice versa. Since 1994, Indian rupee has been made fully convertible in current account transactions. Foreign trade policy. India aims to increase India's export of merchandise and services from US dollars $465 billion in 2013-14 to approximately US dollars $900 billion by the 2019-20 and to raise India's share in the world export from 2% to 3.5%. Commerce and Industry Minister Nirmala Sitharaman unveiled Foreign Trade Policy 2015-20, which seek to provide higher incentive to agriculture industry. FTP also seeks to establish an institutional framework to work with state governments to boost India's exports. Merchandise Export from India Scheme (MEIS) and Service Exports from India Scheme (SAIS) launched. The Services Exports from India Scheme (SAIS) is for increasing exports of notified services. These schemes, MEIS and SAIS, replace multiple schemes earlier in place, each with different conditions for eligibility and usage. Incentives, MEIS and SAIS, to be available for SEZs also. Commerce of handicrafts, handlooms, books etc. eligible for benefits of MEIS. Features of foreign trade policy. Export obligation would be reduced by 25%, and incentives available under the MEIS and SAIS would be extended to the units in the SEZs to make them more attractive for investors. SEZs have lost their sheen after imposition of the minimum alternate tax (MAT) and dividend distribution tax (DDT) in 2012. Further, business services, hotel and restaurants would get reward scrips under SAIS at the rate of 3% and other specified services at the rate of 5%. Nomenclature of Export House, Star Export House, Trading House, Premier Trading House Certificate, changed to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Star Export House. Higher level of rewards under MEIS for export items with high domestic content and value addition. Export obligation under EPCG scheme reduced to 75% to promote domestic capital goods manufacturing. FTP to be aligned to Make in India, Digital India, and Skills India initiatives. Duty credit scrips made freely transferable and usable for payments of custom duty and service tax. Export promotion mission to take on board state governments. Agriculture and village industry products to be supported across the globe at rates of 3% and 5% under MEIS. Industrial products to be supported in major markets at rates ranging from 2% to 3%. Under the new 5-year trade policy, the government will provide incentives to e-commerce companies exporting products from sectors that create jobs. Firms that export goods through courier or foreign post office, using e-commerce of FOB, freight on board, value up to Rs 25,000 per consignment, will be entitled for rewards under MEIS. Specific measures will be taken to facilitate the entry of new entrepreneurs and manufacturers in global trade through extensive training programs. The Niryat Bandhu scheme will be revamped to achieve these objectives and also further dovetailed with the ongoing outreach programs. A new institution, Center for Research in International Trade, is being established, not only to strengthen India's research capabilities in the area of international trade, but also to enable developing countries to articulate their views and concerns from a well-informed position of strength. Two institutional mechanisms are being put in place for regular communication with stakeholders, the Board of Trade and Council for Trade Development, CTD. While the Board of Trade will have an advisory role, the CTD would have representation from states and UT governments. FERA and FEMA. In the budget of 1997 to 98, the government had proposed to replace the Foreign Exchange Regulation Act, FERA 1973, by FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act. FEMA was proposed by the both House of the Parliament in December 1999. After the approval of President, FEMA 1999 has come into force with effect June 2000. Under the FEMA, provisions related to foreign exchange have been modified and liberalized so as to simplify foreign trade. Government hopes that the FEMA will make favorable development in the foreign money market. FERA, Foreign Exchange Regulation Act, FERA, was promulgated in 1973, and it came into force on January 1, 1974. Section 29 of this Act referred directly to the operations of MNCs in India. According to the section, all non-banking foreign branches and subsidiaries with foreign equity exceeding 40% had to obtain permission to establish new undertakings, to purchase shares in existing companies, or to acquire wholly or partly any other company. FEMA. The Foreign Exchange Management Bill, FEMA, was introduced by the Government of India in Parliament on August 4, 1998. The bill aims to consolidate and amend the law relating to foreign exchange with the objective of facilitating external trade and payments, and for promoting the orderly development and maintenance of foreign exchange market in India. Among the various objectives of the Foreign Exchange Management Act, FEMA, an important one is to revise and unite all the laws that relate to foreign exchange. Further, FEMA targets to promote foreign payments and trade in the country. Another important motive of the Foreign Exchange Management Act, FEMA, is to encourage the maintenance and improvement of the foreign exchange market in India. Features of FEMA. It is consistent with full current account convertibility and contains provisions for progressive liberalization of capital account transactions. It is more transparent in its application, as it lays down the areas requiring specific permissions of the Reserve Bank or Government of India on acquisition or holding of foreign exchange. It classified the foreign exchange transactions in two categories, which is capital account and current account transactions. It provides power to the Reserve Bank for specifying, in consultation with the central government, the classes of capital account transactions, and limits to which exchange is admissible for such transactions. It gives full freedom to a person, resident in India, who was earlier resident outside India, to hold or own or transfer any foreign security or a movable property situated outside India and acquired when he or she was resident. This Act is a civil law, and the contraventions of the Act provide for arrest only in exceptional cases. FEMA does not apply to Indian citizens resident outside India.